Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Easy, most known unknown EZ'er. So coming back at y'all again, and it's the METHOD man, it's the gal. No, just wanted to touch on something real quick. I'm still watching the Wu-Tang American Saga stuff on Hulu. Go check it out. Fire. For the most part, it is a little. Sometimes I do get the feeling that Miles is trying to be too into stuff like, like this. I know they playing a character, but sometimes I feel like Miles gets a little bit too into the role. So, Miles walking around with the gold tees, but the a little bit too much, man. But it's a good story so far, man. I'm just starting season two. Season one was pretty good, pretty good. Definitely had a lot of stuff in there from the years that I kind of grew up. They older than me, but I grew up on people like them. Wu-Tang Clan. Red and Math, EPMD, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. Most deaf to live. Quality. I swear, I kind of should have. I wish I was in a way. I wish I was born in New York, bro. You know what I'm saying? DMX is my favorite rapper. Rest in peace to the dog. X gon' give it to boys. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing about X, man. Favorite rapper, and I felt like he'd beat anybody in a rap battle. Yes, that includes your favorite rapper, Eminem, and all them. Cause even the white boy, I do feel like he would have beat if he would have faced him, whether it's back in the day or even right now. I still give it to X. You know what I'm saying? He was my favorite rapper. Nas was my second favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, of course, I did love Chicago rap too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I didn't even realize we had, a few Chicago rappers out here. You know what I'm saying? The main stuff that was banging, because this is before I knew about underground rap and stuff like that. The main stuff that was banging when I was coming up from Chicago was Twister. But Twister, the reason why he's most legendary, because he was able to kind of break out of that whole bind that Chicago kind of had you in, because minds don't really mess with each other enough to really get out there. Twister, Common. I didn't even realize Common was from Chicago, man, because he had a different kind of slang and stuff like that. So I didn't even know he came from Chicago until I got older and stuff like that. Common, uh, Twister, Crucial Conflict. I had no. I used to go to the Wild Hunters a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I got family over there. I used to go to the South Side a lot because that's where my family come from. Now my family roots is in south of the U.S., but my family also rooted in the South Side of Chicago and stuff like that. So I didn't even know like Crucial Conflict was from the Wild Hunters and stuff like that, and you know, um, who else? He had a couple of acts, man. He had a couple of acts coming out of Chicago that much didn't know. Carl Thomas, I ain't know. I didn't even know the R&B acts. I knew, R. Kelly. Everybody knew R. Kelly. That was like one of the main ones that we knew was from Chicago. But you didn't really get a lot of Chicago heat out there and stuff like that. But those are the ones that I grew up on. And then when I hit kind of like eighth grade high school and stuff like that, when Kanye first come out and he was dropping, that's when I learned about underground stuff and mixtapes and all that stuff. Man, high school was the years for me, because high school did a lot for me. High school did a lot for me as far as music tip. I never really knew underground music until then. I got Ludacris's first Incognito. I got that. You know what I'm saying? Off. Of course, mine was burning. burning back. I mean, if you know, CD burning. Of course, we ain't talking about burning. That'd be crazy. But CD burning, man, moms used to burn CDs all the time. Dat Piff was popping. Like, Dat Piff was where you go for everything. Man, it was good times, man. We grew up in a time where we got some of that old school and that mixture of that new school. So we was able to see everything. So we know a lot of the stuff from back then and a lot of stuff from today. And that's why we always considered the greatest. I mean, we gonna probably be considered the greatest generation because we was able to see a little bit of what happened back then, and we able to see now. So we was able to be part of that beeper age and all that stuff, and we was able to see the PlayStation 6, happen and stuff like that. Yeah, I know it's not out yet, but we were able to see that type of stuff. So, but yeah, man, the music back then was fire, bro. Golden '90s was really the golden age of hip hop. Um, and even though I didn't know everything there is to know about music, I still love music. You know what I'm saying? You know, but yeah, East Coast music was the most popular when I was coming up. Uh, that West Coast definitely did come through. South, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, you got to see why Andre 3000 and them is legends, why Outkast is true legends from the South and stuff like that. Underground Kings and stuff like really got to learn music because I think before the '90s, the '80s, they did have that type of hip hop and stuff like that, but it was straight New York. It's straight New York. Like you was digging, dang near New York was everywhere, and in other places you could find homegrown stuff, but it was a rarity. Unless you're talking about deep in the South, like Houston and stuff like that. They had their own vibe always. So, but just seeing this Wu-Tang saga, man, shout outs to Wu-Tang, man. I'm a big fan, big fan. I always been a big fan. Meth was always my favorite, man. But yeah, that bring back old memories, good memories and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I kind of miss that old style of music, man. That freedom of representation and speaking on life as you see it and painting a picture. We used to paint a picture so vividly, man. Nowadays you don't really get that picture painted, as much from the young artists. The young artist is more about making the money, selling records, even though you're not selling no actual records, because don't nobody really buy records no more. It's more about the streaming and stuff like that. But I do miss the days where you could paint a picture. You still got people out there that do it, and I think it's gonna go back to that type of style of hip hop, but it's still in that transition stage where you know the drill music is. I don't think it's ever gonna be a thing of the past. I think it's always gonna happen. I think it's always gonna be drill music, but um, you get to see like the true stories and stuff like that because people are starting to see and realize that lyrics is the way to go. Telling the story is the way to go. That's why Kendrick is staying on top. That's why J. Cole, even though the whole beef thing kind of knocked him off a little bit, and he never really went nowhere because he got the lyrics. Drake, even though people feel a certain way about him, he got the lyrics. He got the stuff that keeps you coming back and stuff like that. So lyrics is always gonna matter. How you tell a story is always gonna matter. Respecting the rhymes is always gonna matter. Putting in the time, putting in the work, always gonna matter. Picking a good beat, always gonna matter. You ain't even gotta pick a really good beat. You could pick a beat that's kind of outlandish, man. That's what the Wu kind of represented. Like it was a little bit craziness, but it was fun. It was fun, and the rhymes went with the beats, man. You know what I'm saying? Like man, I do nostalgia. This is what this one's gonna be called, nostalgia, man. Because it's just like you get that nostalgia feel when you see stuff like that, especially when you grew up in those type of eras and stuff like that, and making a way for yourself, making a way for your family, and fighting through adversity and trials and tribulations and getting over that hump. You know what I'm saying? That's what we wanted as black people. I know nowadays we see it a little bit different. Nowadays we believe it is a little bit different, but it actually, I don't think it really is. You know what I'm saying? I think the streets is still the streets, and I think as much as we didn't want to be in the streets back then, I think it's the same now. Like, I don't think moms want to be in the streets as much as they might be in the streets out here. You see so many kids out here, especially the young dudes or the YNs, whatever y'all want to call them out here, and y'all believe we believe the same thing we believe growing up in that time. With Wu-Tang and stuff like that. It was kind of the same narrative, and but everybody wanted to make something of themselves. Believe it or not, as a black cat, I can tell you right now, everybody that's really ever been around me has always wanted to make something of themselves. Always wanted to do something with themselves. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not be famous or anything like that, but always wanted to secure a solid life for themselves. And I think that's what we was always fighting for. And the music helped. You know what I'm saying? Rather you liked it or you didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Because every generation is music is different. I will say I don't really particularly mess with this generation's music, but I do find sometimes occasional people that I could rock with. You know what I'm saying? That tell a story and stuff like that. Because otherwise, you just got music just talking about the same stuff in the world. Gats, guns, money, chicks, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Selling dope. It becomes redundant after a while. But knowing that it might come back, or like I said, it is gonna transition back to real gritty, grimy music, because that's what people gonna want to hear. That's what people gonna want to be a part of and stuff like that. So it's gonna get back there eventually. It definitely will. And I just get excited to see shows like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy that RZA was able to do it while he was still living. So he had some creative control over the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be able that, you able to see actually, a dramatic version or drama filled version of what they went through and stuff like that. And how they came to be. And I'm happy that he was able to have a voice in it, because a lot of the times our day ones don't get no voice in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's gonna make a DMX story and he might not have no say in it. Maybe Swiss Beats might, but of course after the man gone, he don't have no say in it. Just like, Biggie had no say in, his biopic. Pac ain't had no say in his biopic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, I'm happy to be able to have them brothers input and really see where they came from and see what they had to go through, man. And it also tells you the same thing, that this industry has always been the same. They will use you, they will abuse you, and as long as you believe in yourself, you can make something happen for yourself. That's why I say mess with yourself more than you mess with the industry. Wu-Tang took a chance on themselves. You know what I'm saying? You got artists like Lil Russell that take a chance on themselves, believes in themselves, and believes that they giving out what they giving out. Yeah, they might not be as big, or they might not never be as big as what the industry could do for them, but they still doing their numbers, making their money, getting their shows. People mess with them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I rock with Papoose. Papoose did it solo dolo. After a while, yeah, he had occasionally he had deals and stuff like that, but he did it mainly independent. He had a hardcore fan base. People like Tech Nine, MF Doom, you know what I'm saying? These people, J Electronica, like people like that, got names ring bells, and they do it kind of independently. Like, people mess with them even when they not dropping, or they not doing nothing, or they got that hardcore fan support. And that's what you look for when you're a real spitter and everything like that. You don't really gotta do as much. And these industry cats know that. They know that. And so they gonna try to get you on their side and, give you money but I'm telling you, the industry is not really the money maker. You are the money maker. The talent is always gonna be the money maker. And just to see where they went and to where they gonna go, because I'm pretty sure see some more. I think it's gonna be great for the show, and then I'm hoping that happens with our music culture today. We move into that place where you start getting the stories, like you know, um, learning about cats. Let's get back to the fruitfulness of hip hop, and people start to their own, you know, take their own route. After labels, after labels, yeah, they gotta, you gotta get it to where they coming for you, not you going for them. You know what I'm saying? And they always gonna be in your ear about these things. They always gonna want a piece of your pie. You know what I'm saying? What you created. If you made it independently, I say stay independent, bro. I say stay on your Houston grind. You look like I said, Lil Russell. Chance the Rapper. Stay on those type of grinds. You know what I'm saying? Because people gonna rock with you regardless, and they know that. So when they try to bring you in, just know that they just looking to get paid off of you. For the most part, most of the time, yeah, these people produce good music for you and stuff like that. But they got deadlines to reach. They got stuff they want from you. They got stuff they want you to do, and you can't really ever be your authentic self again. I'm sure if Cardi B could take back all this stuff, she would. I'm pretty sure she just wanted to make music, and now she does make music, but not really on her terms, really ever on her terms. You know what I'm saying? And you might get better quality music when you're able to make it on your own terms. So stick to what you know, man. Stick to yourself, believe in yourself, and you'll make it. Whether you make it in the industry or you just make it solo, dolo, people know you type deal. You'll make it, bro. Just believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I miss about us. We used to believe in ourselves a lot more than we do nowadays. We believe we need other people when we really don't nowadays. But yeah, I'm gonna continue watching that, man. I think this is a great show. I think people should go check it out. And you know, if you from my era, if you know, it'll be nostalgia. And that's what I'm calling this my, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to come touch on that with y'all today, And I'm gonna get at y'all later. It's the 365 drop. This is Jan 24th. And it's your boy, Easy Most Unknown, Easy O. So, out of here. Salutes.